conversation this morning, we have been joined by the Minister of Youth, Sports and Transport, none other than Rodwell Ferguson.
Good morning,
Mr. Ferguson. And he is joined by my good friend Tyler Tillett, who's here in a different capacity. You're here as a volunteer to discuss the app that will be launched in the coming days as well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Before we get into talking about the app, let's first talk about the state of sports in Belize, in the various disciplines, and perhaps how the government is facilitating the development of sports in this country.
Well, if I may,
Sure.
I traveled to Venezuela last year for Consacada Games. Then I also traveled to Grenada this year for Carifta Games. That by itself was an experience for me, and see how the other countries support sports at that level. I was surprised to see Nicaragua took an entire plane load of athletes to Venezuela last year. And then Jamaica and Trinidad dominate Carifta Games. Because I think as a country, they invest in their young people. And when we say invest, people always believe that the government of Belize should invest. It's the entire country invest. And after I came back from those two games, I said, you know what, we have to find a solution, an alternative to support our athletes as they travel across the world and across the globe. Because when they go and they come back with gold, then we make a big hooray and welcome them back. But nobody knows how they got to that point. And so I decided to come up with an idea. I said, you know what, we can create an app to be able to raise money to support our young people as they travel. It's a difficult task because Belizeans are reluctant, especially maybe because the image of the National Sports Council maybe many years ago. So why will I contribute to something that will not see any fruition? So I asked the National Sports Council that we are going to create an app, to create a new account that we want to contribute to the app. We must provide a statement of revenue and expenses on a monthly basis to the Belizean people. And so we not only want to attract those at home, we also want to attract those in the diaspora. So they are going to have a diaspora summit, I think, along the 7th of June in California. And we want to send a team to that summit to introduce the app. So right away when I came up with the idea, I called a young man from Orange Rock by the name of Azel Koo, I think you are familiar with Azel, who create these apps. And Azel told me, he said, Mr. Ferguson, yes, I can create the app and work with you. And I want to see the app reach a final stage where you can just click and your contribution goes into the system. We were waiting on the bank account for about 2 months, so we got the bank account about 2 weeks ago. So we're prepared to launch up. And so if you say you want to contribute your dollar, we're asking Belizeans for a minimum of $1 a month. So if you sell but you want to give your dollar a month, so we expect $12 for Isani or April and the end of December. We're going to ask the school children, we're going to break it down and say, look, you can contribute shilling a week. So that your money that you get for your purchase at school, give only a shilling a week. And I had to come up with the idea, I said, look, if we want to launch it, we have to have a jingles to support the app. So you're going to get into your mind and say, I will contribute to this app every single month. And so I asked Sports Council to find a suitable musician to come up with an app. And right now I think the most popular musician is Hube. So I said, you know what, ask him to create the app. I mean the jingles. So today I think you have the jingles. The jingle will also be played to say this is what we're going to do for sports in the country of Belize.
So with this application launch, and I think it's like almost like a GoFundMe kind of, yes.
Yeah.
How will the funds be distributed? How would you know where? So if you, let's say, every Belizean downloads this app, you're looking at almost $400,000, right?
Notwithstanding those in the diaspora.
Notwithstanding those in the diaspora. So let's cap it at $500,000, right? Looking at $500,000 as somebody that's pledging their dollar. How are these funds going to be distributed equally? And I say equally because you have certain sports that think, oh, you give more to basketball, you give more to football, you got volleyball, you know, all of these different sports that we have in Belize. How would you distribute these funds equally?
All right, we have several federations in the country. And initially, the organizer was saying then we are going to deal with maybe juvenile sports for right now. But I told them this app, in my estimation, is going to be working tremendously. And so we want to reach out to every federation across the country and support their initiative. So we are hoping that if this app works, we are going to say then all facilities going to be free for you to go and work out. There will be no added cost for electricity bill, for any use of any facilities across the country, because the app should take care of all these expenses. And as I'm saying then that on a monthly basis, we are going to show the entire nation how much we make, how much we spend. But what I want to establish from day one, that no individual team can come and request finances for the app to contribute to them.
Yeah.
They must go through the federation to make sure they are legit. Because many times there are fake people who have come and say, I have a team in Kawazal and PG, and I want a contribution toward a team. Everything must go through their federations.
Let's get Tylon in on the conversation with respect of the app and the role that you play.
I'm volunteering for the launch of this app. In relation to what Mr. Ferguson says, Mr. Koo, who designed the app, designed it with certain parameters, and so there are the possibility of adding a specific campaign per month or for a 2-week period is also available on the app. So let me use a basic example. Let's say we're trying to send a particular team to a particular games in a few weeks. An ad campaign can be introduced to the app subscribers to say that, hey, between the 15th of June till the end of June, we're trying to reach this target goal to send this particular person or this particular team to these games. Can you contribute to this specific cause?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do, and it's a creative idea that Mr. Ferguson has come up with, is combining technology and ease of access with the social minded to give to their country. And we know that most Belizeans are generous, and creating this engine to harness that generosity and putting your money to a specific cause is what we're particularly proud of. And we have, somebody always saying nobody has the hard numbers, right? But it is always said that there's more Belizeans living in the States than living in our country.
Yeah.
And so this gives that person in the diaspora the ability to donate to something immediately. And we want every Belizean to feel ownership of the things that we have in this country. Sports gives the ability to create somebody's dream. Not everybody comes here to be Dr. Laya and all these other professionals. There are people here with the potential, and we always know it. We always hear about people that can run fast naturally, that don't get the training, or this person that could have been this, but they didn't go that far. So by donating your dollar, you're supporting someone's dream, someone's idea of getting further in life. And one of these days you might be sitting on your couch and actually see where your dollar has gone because you're cheerleading somebody that is in the Olympics for Belize. And that's what we're looking for, to create that sense of ownership.
I like the fact that transparency and accountability are both high in terms of what you're seeking to do with the monies that are gathered from this particular app. Explain to us, Minister, why this aspect was of such importance in terms of the openness for people to understand how the money is gathered and where the money goes.
Well, I like to be very transparent. And when I was appointed the Minister of Sports, and I recognized that when I have the resources to get certain things done, I had to put on my thinking cap. And my thinking kept brought me to this up and said, well, let's launch this up. And we have a National Sports Council. So we are saying that we invent the wheel. The members of the National Sports Council, their signatures will be the same signatures to make sure that we can distribute the funds from the app. But everybody who apply for assistance, you have to be very open and transparent. So I'm very cognizant and I'm happy that we are now launching this up. For example, we have a team that went to Costa Rica 2 weeks ago, athletics, and they came back with about 6 medals. And the onus was on me as the minister to find the majority of the funds for them to go to Costa Rica. And I had to go there and put on my thing and kept to figure out how we can raise this money for them to go. It was successful. They went and they came back, and Belizeans felt very proud of them. Now we have the under-20 basketball team in Argentina. And when Mr. Lester called me and said, Mr. Ferguson, remember last year, you commit that you are going to help us raise the money to send a basketball team to Argentina. First of all, I want to give kudos to the government of Belize for recognizing the importance of sports in this country, and the government contributed significantly. I also want to thank BWS for their contribution, because last year when we had Kodikadere in Belize, we had the under-18 basketball, we have volleyball. It was a humongous amount of responsibility on my shoulder. And I had to ask the Prime Minister to intervene, to let us speak with BTL, BEL, and BWS. But I want to give the chairman of BWS a plan by putting a budget now in BWS budget to assist with sports.
Yeah.
So I could have easily went to him and said, Chairman, we have the under-20 basketball team going to Argentina. How can you make a contribution to the cause? And so they were able to go to Argentina, and they are there now. We are hopeful that they can bring back some gold or silver or bronze. Whatever they bring back, we are going to appreciate. But at least Belize have representation in such a high league of basketball.
Indeed, indeed. I think that we've seen time and time again where our Belizean athletes, they go out, they represent, they bring back so many medals. They bring back, not just, it doesn't even have to be that they brought back medals, but just the fact that they went out and represented our country is a huge win for us as Belize. Do we have conversations within the government and within your department and ministry of things like sports tourism, something to bring and cater people to come to Belize to watch our Belizeans play here as well?
Well, myself and the Minister of Tourism are having a conversation to figure out how we can collaborate sports with tourism. But first of all, the facilities in Belize need to be improved. If you can recall, GOB approved $2 million to assist in the renovation of facilities in the country. I want to touch at least something in every district that they could say, you know what, my facility has been upgraded, has been improved. For example, I was in Corozal about a month and a half ago. We are now renovating the Civic Center in Corozal. That is through the remainder of the funds that was left after last year in BWS budget.
Yeah.
So I'm quite cognizant that at least by the end of next month, we can safely say the Civic Center in Corozal has been upgraded. And we are going to pull a plan how we are going to upgrade many facilities across the country with the $2 million that government has provided for sports.
I want to, at this point, welcome Marvin Utley as the Deputy Director of the National Sports Council to this conversation. Good morning, Mr. Utley.
Good morning. Glad to have you to be on the show this morning.
So since we're talking about upgrading facilities and what have you, forgive me if I go to a difficult topic right away, right? The Marion Jones Sporting Complex remains in a state of disrepair. I think we've shown stories of the track and other areas of the facility that need some serious work. And I know the Marion Jones is also the seat of the Sports Council. Let's talk about that, Mr. Otley, in terms of perhaps what can be done at this point between the NSC and government to be able to improve that facility.
Well, Minister, in his wisdom, in regards to the $2 million, Belize City is getting the lion's share of the $2 million for facility improvement. And so MCC, Marion Jones, and Mexico Center that get damaged from the hurricane, from Hurricane Lisa, is the priority areas for us. Marion Jones, in regards to the field itself, we are still gathering some studies to ensure what will be the best remedy for the pitch. If I could recall, the pitch was built somewhere back in 1993 or 94, and underneath it is a whole bed of rocks.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, our best solution is to raise it higher so that the heat, when we get into the summertime, because even though we have sprinklers there, the heat from the rocks during the summertime just eat up all the grass. So that is one area of improvement we believe we can do at Marion Jones. In regards to completing the facility, because remember we inherit this facility, the fifth floor haven't been completed at all. And the fifth floor is where the press box and the VIP seats are. In that same investment, we are trying to see how we could improve those two areas and have the facility fully outfitted for sporting event and whatever have you. So that Marion Jones is a priority area in MCC and Mexico Center.
I also think of the idea that the government has set aside money for the improvement of these facilities, but I think back to 2 weeks ago with what happened at the Norman Broster, where, you know, fans of these respective teams come out and they completely vandalize and tear up the place.
Yeah.
So it stands as a stark contrast or irony that, you know, monies are being invested in the improvement of these facilities, but we as a people, we don't have that social consciousness perhaps to be able to respect the fact that, you know what, these facilities are here for public use, but we must be able to keep it up as well without tearing them down and what have you.
The NSC mandate is to improve sports at all levels within the country, starting from primary school. Sports in schools creates discipline. They always say that coachable kids becomes good employees. So encouraging sports at that lower level gives us a chance to also instill values.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been a little break in that, and that's where we see this level of vandalism happening and so on. But the more the NSC and sports is improved in Belize, we create these athletes that has a social conscience and understand that this is not a place I am playing at, this is my space.
Yeah.
And so in regards to the maintenance of facilities, the NSC has a plan to talk to good corporate citizens, successful businesses in the community. All these businesses have a desire to advertise. And so in the coming months, there's going to be a situation where these places will be invited, and it's already happening, to come in, do your advertisement, and contribute to the facility nearest to you. You're a business person, you're a business entity. You can be a good corporate citizen by contributing to the upkeep of the facility in your district.
I also think of the MCC grounds, right? And the fact that that particular facility, which is a landmark in Belize City, is the worst for wear. I mean, when Hurricane Lisa came 2 or 3 years ago, however many years, it completely tore down the fence that is near Kaya Almar, and it remains open to this day. I don't know what has been part of the fiscal process, Minister, for monies to be set aside to get that repaired.
Well, that's why Marvin told you earlier that the bulk of the money is going to be spent in Belize City, particularly MCC and Marion Jones.
Yeah.
I was at MCC about 3 weeks to a month ago at the end of the football commission. There was carried over by Minister Karim, and I was confronted by the players. I said, Mr. Ferguson, we appreciate that you come, but look at the facility. And I committed to them that we are going to find a solution to that. Our initial discussion about MCC, we were talking about taking away the outer fence and create a parking, especially since there's like a night area, and start a fee to support MCC. Because our population is now still under 400,000. And when we have sporting facilities, I mean for sporting events, maybe less than 5,000 people attend. So just by that, we not generate enough income to sustain and maintain these facilities. We are hoping that we can change the narrative. Once we can change and get people involved back in sports, I believe we can be self-sustainable in sports. We have to build an image first.
Yeah, we're talking about using this app as a marketing tool for younger people to come and watch the game and have, right. And so there are certain sports events that happen almost every weekend, not just in the city, but in the rural communities and so forth as well. Are there any conversations about involving them in this sort of process?
No, everybody will be involved. And our objective is to change the whole narrative and Belize recognize that, you know what, sports by itself could be an industry. And once you create an industry, then at least we'll start to get a certain percentage or some kind of payment to say, you know what, I am playing this sport, so I'm going to get something for my commitment to this sport. So it's going to be a long period, but we need to make a start. And now is the beginning of the start. As you mentioned about the diaspora, we don't know how many Belizeans are there. But when I went there about 2 years ago for a summit, I introduced it then verbally. And they said, man, we are now waiting for that to launch. So right now I might get a WhatsApp every day or every other day from organizations in the US and some Ferguson, when are we going to launch an app that we can contribute? For example, we have many companies in Belize. They might be very successful, but if we create a letter and ask them that you can cascade and say, we are going to start from $25 a month, maybe to $5,000 a month. You decide how much you want to contribute. And once we give you a monthly report, then you want to continue to contribute. We have to start somewhere.
I'm glad that you're talking about collaborating with these different business entities, because I think sometimes as citizens we look to the government for everything. Right? And when it comes to these different sporting events, they're mostly managed and handled by corporations and organizations such as the National Sports Council, FIFA, FFP, you know, all of these different entities. And so it's good to hear that there is a collaboration with the government, but not all of it falls solely on the government. What other projects can we expect in the year to come?
Well, I say we're talking about the renovation of the facilities. We want to improve primary school sports. Because what I envisioned since I came into the ministry is that the primary school sport is played maybe over 1 or 2 weekends. So I can't really see the talent at that level. And when they reach high school and tertiary, it's basically forgotten. And to decide you want to play football or basketball on a certain team. So we want to be able to carry it from primary to tertiary. Again, there is no academy for sports in Belize. So again, we have to figure out how we can find a solution and find a way to make sure that at an early age, the children can go to a sports academy and be able to understand the sports or discipline that they want to participate in. So it will be a tedious task, but I believe we can accomplish it.
I want to discuss or go back to the conversation regarding the National Sports Council and the change in leadership over the past year or so with a new director. I know that there has been criticism in other corners with respect of what has been taking place at the NSC and of course sports development on a whole. How do you respond to that, Minister? And perhaps we could also get Mr. Utley to weigh in on as well.
All right.
Certainly our mandate is to make sure that we can improve primary school sports first. That's our main mandate. At present, we are at our last discipline in primary school, and we have seen just over 3,000 to 4,000 male and female primary schoolers participating in all 5 disciplines that we do. That's below what we expect. We hope that by next year we could increase that to 5,000, because the primary school sports tournament now is an extension of the Kodikadere Games.
Yeah.
And next year, Kodikadere use the primary school age for its cycle. On top of that, our next thing is the services to our federation. And we have about 41 or 42 federations registered with us. And all the time they come to NSC for assistance, even if it's use of the space or even opportunities to travel and that kind of stuff. So those 2 priority areas have been major for us. But what Minister have done when he got in as Minister is to ask us to continue to support community sports. So all the village tournaments and sometimes the rural tournaments, we are trying our best to see how we could get a hand into it. NSC have coordinators all across the country in every district. And so we are trying our best to see how we could have a better print on the community sports. In regards to the sporting facilities, when we got in, we got in inheriting 7 new facilities. Basically, 2 in PG, 2 in Dangriga, 2 in Kayo, and Civic Center in Belize, but that is not under our management. But we still have to service those facilities with the same budget. And so we are doing the best we can with what we have to ensure that we could still keep the facilities upgraded and also allow for teams and associations to use it as at minimal cost as possible. Minister just explained that the app does provide for direct support to national teams and to federation. So that will be one of the major projects we look at in regards to the fundraiser.
Let's get your take.
Before I get to your real question, so we are hoping to launch the app on Wednesday, a soft launch. So I hope that you will contribute to $1 right away on Wednesday. So you can start deciding on April, make that contribution.
We got you.
Yeah. In terms of the management of the National Sports Council, first of all, I want the nation to know that there is no money that can be misappropriated in the National Sports Council because it's very limited. We get a budget of $3.2 million for the year. That is basically to pay salaries and recurrent expenditure. So there is no room for any misappropriation of funds because it is very tight. It is very, very limited. But there was a change of the director, I think, in last year around this time.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ian Carl decided that he's not going to renew his contract. And I had to look around to find the most appropriate person who I believe will advance and enhance the National Sports Council. And while Ms. Iris Centeno is from my constituency, I was following her movements over the years to see her performance when it comes to sports. And in April, again, she's a female, and I said I want to give a female an opportunity to see her performance. I believe since she came on, we have seen some tremendous strides at the National Sports Council, but because of limitations of funding, then we have to draw back in certain instances. But if the app comes on board, then we will see a National Sports Council in its full performance benefit the Belizean people.
I think one of the criticisms being levied against the existing director is the fact that the qualifications, I believe, were being called to question in terms of how she became eligible for that post.
All right, you have to respect people for who they are and what they do. Ms. Iris Centeno has an associate degree at that level. When she graduated from high school, she was a valedictorian. She just came back from Spain just before her appointment to do a training in, I guess, in something related to sports management. And so I look at her and I say, you know what, you might be the most appropriate person at this particular time to fill that position. And I want the press to realize that she has an associate degree. She was the valedictorian when she went from high school, so she has the capacity to advance National Sports Council.
As we wrap up our segment this morning, Minister, I know that there are so many other different topics that we can talk about in your other departments, but we're focusing on sports. Can you tell us if there's going to be a press launch for this app on Wednesday? Give us some details as to... Yes, okay, Mr. Tyra.
The NSC is going to be in the media this entire week. Different morning shows. We're starting off with you guys. On Wednesday, there is going to be a soft launch of the app with the NSC staff. A media invite is going to go out today, and on next week, Wednesday, which is going to be the 12th, there's going to be a full launch on a media host. All morning for about 4 hours. We'll be having an agenda. We'll be inviting businesses that will be donating to the app. But this week, it's morning shows. It's a soft launch on Wednesday. It's going to be a soft launch / press mixer to get everybody to see how the app looks, what are the parameters, how do you navigate the app. And like I said, the minister will be on every morning show this week, possibly. And we're letting the public know that we are here. There will be updates on the National Sports Council's Facebook page. A video is being produced, so a jingle is currently out and playing about the app so that Belizeans get used to the idea. And like we said, it's these social partnerships between government and the community that causes success for these ideas. And so we're pushing it, and we see how far it goes and where it goes, and hopefully everyone can be engaged. The local Belizean from $1 go up, and even the diaspora that we believe is a robust group that we can harness through this type of application. So this week we'll be making a lot of noise, and everybody should be seeing us.
I know that we wrapped up, and I know that should have been my final question. But and this is something I don't think that we've discussed as yet, but how, and if you can, because I know you don't have the launch on Wednesday, how do I put my dollar? Because is that something that I'm going to be doing with, like, collaborating with different banks? Can I send my dollar from my bank account to the app? Like, how is it supposed to actually work?
The technicalities of it, like I said, is going to be shown on Wednesday, but it's like any other application that will be, I believe, in your Play Store. You download it. We have a QR code that you can scan that will take you directly to the app. And it's technology. You click a button and it goes, it gives you the electronic receipt, I believe. I don't know if it's a Otley. Maybe I can explain it a little more, but it's simply ease of access and ease of use, and it's gone.
Okay.
Well, when you go to the donate page, it then take it to your account, and then they transfer the money to our Belize bank account, and then
gotcha.
the process gets completed. I have had a lot of questions to ask because I am not of this technology age, so a lot of the features have been towards, I guess, all the Belizeans who would want to navigate that the app.
So we'll look forward to the soft launch on
At
Wednesday.
the soft launch on Wednesday, the developer of the app, Mr. Azel Ku, will be there to demonstrate. And like, I know as old as Mr. Otley, right? So I have some idea, but I'm still a little old. So,
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. The Belize Sports app. Where's the where the going? Where the going to sports?
We'll have a jingle to play?
Yes, I believe we do have the jingle.
So we could play it after, and then we
and
can...
our thing says play, contribute, win. You understand me? So everybody has a chance to do something. Like I said, hopefully one day you'll be sitting on a couch and you realize where your dollar went when you're seeing one of our Belizean athletes in the international arena.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you guys
Thank
so
you,
much
Jen.
for
Alright.
joining us. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, our friends from the FFB are here to tell us about the up-and-coming game with Belize versus Nicaragua. Oops. Don't go away. We'll be right back. It's all.